Well, joining us today on Best Dog Life is Tim Mitchum. He is the president of WINPRO, a company that develops blood protein supplements for dogs. The supplements are designed to address some of the most common canine health problems, so we look forward to getting some insights into this unique supplement from Tim today. So we have a couple questions for you, Tim, and I hope you're ready to get started.
I'm ready to go, and I really appreciate being here, so thanks.
Thank you. So just to get started, so everyone has an understanding, in sort of very simplistic terms, can you please explain what animal blood proteins are?
Yeah, so when I was thinking about that question, I'm like, I love the fact that how simple can you make it, right? Because it's kind of a complex science, but it's very simple in what they do. So animal blood proteins are really proteins from the blood that are Mother Nature's, I'd say, weapon against inflammation. So their only job is to reduce inflammation at the source of the problem. And so what happens when you do that is the dog's body is allowed to heal itself naturally, because excessive and chronic inflammation is really the cause of the majority of health issues in not only humans, but dogs for sure.
Great. So in terms of putting that into perspective, what issues in dogs do these blood protein supplements address, and where have you found them to be most effective?
Okay, so we follow the science, and there's 5 areas that we get good results in, and that is gut health, in the mobility, joint health, allergies, a anxiety product, and then we also have a recovery product that is more for the kind of performance dog world, where they're really, running dogs a lot, really hard. And those are all inflammation related issues. So the ones that the mobility is something that people see right away. And so that's one that is a very popular product, because you'll see a dog, get their puppy legs back or stop limping or have more energy on the runs very quickly. The gut health product is simply just restores the gut to normal, which solves a lot of problems. Allergies is pretty obvious, what that kind of takes care of, both seasonal and ongoing. And then we have an anxiety product that is really a great calming product, whether it's for event-based or ongoing separation anxiety. And especially during this time of this recording, with what's going on in the world, with people being at home more, or people being at home and then leaving to go back to work, it really has caused a lot of, kind of anxious moments for, our furry friends that we're hanging out with all day.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, I know that the adoption rates have gone through the roof, and
yeah,
I'm sure that as people go back to work, there's probably a lot of anxiety. So I can see that being a great product. So in terms of, what inspired you to get involved with these blood protein supplements?
Yeah, so I never even thought for a second I would be selling something in the dog world. I'm a dog guy, obviously, love dogs, but I never even considered, I just didn't even consider it. I've always been in direct marketing, information marketing in the online space. And the origin story, can I tell you the origin story of the company? I think
yeah, please do.
Okay. So the origin story of the company is that this science is back from the 80s in 1980 up at Iowa State University. And they were having a terrible problem with the mortality rate when they were weaning piglets. And so they tried nutrition, they tried environmental factors, and they couldn't solve that problem. And so the smart scientist guy there was working on this blood protein blend, and he decided, hey, let's sprinkle this on the food and see what happens. And the mortality rate went from 20% to less than 1. Wow. And what they found out is the stress of that situation was causing so much inflammation that was creating the mortality. And so that science went through all livestock and feed species and ended up in the performance racehorsing world. And the founder of this company is working for a company that wanted to develop a supplement for performance racehorses. And in that world, those are probably the hardest pushed animals. It's just unbelievable, and the stress that they have. So inflammation was a really big issue. And that product worked so well. He was literally terrified of horses. He had 5 dogs at home. He would say he was a kennel guy stuck in the stables. And so he decided just kind of make the leap. He just thought the health benefits would be worth the risk because, you know, as a dog owner, if you could just improve their quality of life a little bit at every stage, it's a really massive deal. And so he brought that to this world, and he was struggling to kind of get it going, right? He was he just kind of wasn't finding traction. So I was brought in by a group of investors that are part of WinPro. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't know anything about, this kind of stuff. But I had a dog that was struggling to get up and down. And she hadn't jumped on the couch for 3 or 4 years. And I married into a long-haired Chihuahua. I love her to death, but I totally married into her, right?
Yeah.
And so just kind of on a whim, I started giving her the mobility treats. And within 15 days, she was jumping all over the house, on the couch, on the bed. And what that big aha moment for me was, because you can talk about the science, you can talk about everything, but the aha moment was she could always do it if she wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
She was just choosing not to because it wasn't worth the pain that was associated with the doing that activity, right? No different if we have a sore back and we need to move a box, we'll just wait till the next day until our back isn't sore. Well, if our back is never not sore, then we just leave that box there and a whole new pattern is created. So she could structurally jump up and down. She just chose not to. And over time that became a chronic behavior. I call it chronic behavior because it never changed. Once you take that soreness away, it appears like there's she got her puppy legs back, but in reality, she just got her legs back even at her age, So that was like this, wow, okay, well, I don't know anything about this stuff, but I know it'd be really fun to sell and talk to people about if they have problems to solve, because it can be a transformative type of solution for a lot of people that have struggled to find one.
Wow, that's a great story. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
So in terms of, well, I was hoping you'd tell us a little bit about the findings, in terms of the science here, in terms of the published studies about, animal blood proteins in dogs. I've read some on your website about some of those studies. I'm wondering if you could give us a little more detail in terms of what the findings were.
Yeah, so there's been studies throughout multiple species, tons of studies in that around inflammation. And there's one that was really kind of pivotal moving to the dog world, gait analysis at Texas A&M on horses. And all of those proved out basically that the blood proteins reduce inflammation. And there's different markers for that to kind of prove that out. But it also improved out not only just like on the seeing it on a blood like panel, but also in like movement, range of motion, and that kind of stuff. Specifically in dogs, which is kind of interesting, which this is a really cool side effect of our products, is that once you reduce inflammation, especially in the gut, they actually absorb more nutrients out of the dog food. So if you're giving a good dog food, but your dog is having some inflammation in the gut or the lining of the gut wall, they won't be absorbing all of that good nutrition that dog food is available to them, and that's proved out in a couple studies on the digestibility for sure around the dogs. And I think that's a really cool not a side effect, but a cool study, because you can see a dog that goes from not getting upstairs to running upstairs, right? You can see that. But when you think about absorbing nutrients, you're spending great money on dog food, but if you're not getting all the nutrients out of it that you can, it's just not as beneficial. So I think that's a really cool, a cool thing about our product, especially on the gut health side of it.
Got it. Thanks. So in terms of veterinarians, what do they say about your product in terms of the efficiency and the results?
Yeah, so we're picking up more and more vets every day, but they're the one-off vets. So they're the ones that are really looking for a solution that they can, help a customer with that's different, a little bit more holistic. And I think to answer your question, the vets who look in our product love it. The challenge that we have with like being in every vet store or every vet office is that they're really, they're so tied to large companies with, you know, shots, and it's easy to give a $160 shot versus go sell somebody on a $30 30-day supply supplement. Like it's easier. They're all tied together. So there's not a huge desire to continue to learn more about new products. But when we get in there, they love our product. But where we're really kind of seeing cool traction is in the mobile vets, which is really interesting because they're looking for products that they can recommend that they don't have to, that they're, for some reason, I feel like that they're really involved a little bit more holistically with their clients to do kind of what they think is the right thing. So they love our product, and the science is absolutely right up their alley. Our challenge has just kind of been getting into the offices, but we really haven't focused on it because we can, you know, hopefully just sell direct to the consumer the majority of the time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But hopefully that'll spread more and more with time.
Yeah, we'd love to. It's a great option for them, and for the dog. I mean, it just helps more dogs.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that I'd read was that your supplements are approved by the National Animal Supplement Council.
Yeah.
That sounded really good. But I was wondering, so what does that sort of mean to like your average dog owner?
Yeah, so the NASC, the National Animal Supplement Council, was really formed as an extension of the FDA to fill this gap of kind of an unregulated space for animal supplements. And so it became this regulatory group that really helps make sure that anything that has like a NASC seal or is approved by the NASC has gone through approvals around what is on the packaging. Is it real? Is it honest? Is it, you know, if it's made in the USA, is it made in the USA? You know, really what you can say, how it's presented to make sure that it's actually ethical and really correct. And one of the kind of the interesting things about when you talk about the NASC, we are currently the only dog supplement that is approved by the NASC to use the word inflammation on our package because the science proves out that enough that it reduces inflammation that we can use it on the package. And that's a really big deal because that's that word right there is really hard to be able to use in marketing or, you know, on package because you've really got to be able to back it up.
Gotcha. So consumers, that definitely helps them with the comfort level in terms of product, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, so here was another thing that I was reading about, so I wanted to get your input on this, was that the blood protein supplements are up to 6 times more powerful than common nutritional supplements. So that sounds incredible. So I just wanted to get a little bit better understanding of what that means as well.
Yeah, so it sounds incredible, and it might be almost too incredible to say, right? Mm-hmm. And so I've actually pulled that off of our website just because, and I'll tell you exactly where I get that from. So because it's 100% true, but it's almost, if you can't prove it like in a study, then you probably shouldn't be able to say it. And so that's kind of why I pulled it down. But here's where that comes from. Our products, because the blood proteins work biologically, you should see results within 10 days. Some people see results within days. We have people that give our anxiety product hours before thunderstorms. But within 10 days, you for sure should see some kind of improvement to know that it's going to be a good solution for you. And on average, a nutritional supplement will be 60 to 90 days that they say that you need to consume this supplement in order to see any results. So that's where that kind of number comes from. You'll be able to see in 10 days whether or not there's, you know, going to be results with our product versus 60 or, you know, 90 days. So technically, in my opinion, we could say that all day long, but in legal marketing world, we may not be able to. So
yeah, no, I totally understand. But thanks for sort of explaining the background there.
Right, no problem.
So one of the things, I was reading through the reviews on the website, and I see a lot of good positive reviews, good success stories. So all that was really positive to read about. One thing I was wondering about was, in certain cases, does the supplement work for like all dogs or certain breeds, or is there any kind of, does it always work? I mean, simplistically?
It always works at what it's supposed to do, which is reduce inflammation at the source of the problem, right? So if it's a joint problem and there's excessive inflammation there, it will reduce inflammation at that problem. Um, there, if you're, there isn't a time where it doesn't work at doing what it's supposed to do. But if there's no real problem, we have an immunity product that just restores the gut to normal to kind of just keep, a preventative. But in reality, there is no dog or dog size or breed that our product doesn't work for. The science is just so simple around what the blood proteins do. It's really irrelevant what system, what dog it goes into, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So out of curiosity, I have a young dog, so would that be something you'd recommend if he's like, let's say 2 or 3, high energy, no health problems? Would you still be a good candidate?
Yeah. So what I would do, so typically what happens, our customer journey is they buy to solve a problem, right? Whether it's mobility or allergies, they see the results and then they're like, okay, I want a preventative product for, just overall health. And that is our immunity product. And I would put any dog after weaning on that product, just because all it does is just keep the gut at normal function, which normal is perfect. We hear all these terms about, oh, it needs to boost and supercharge. Well, in reality, normal is absolutely perfect when it comes to a body systems. So with all this stuff, especially a young dog gets into, it's just a good kind of preventive. And they think it's a treat, I mean, it's in the form of, it's in the form of a soft chew, and they think it's a treat. So we just give, one of these in the morning or one in the afternoon, just depending on what their treat pattern is. 2 in the morning, it just doesn't matter. But they end up loving them.
Gotcha. Yeah, it looks really yummy.
Yeah.
I'm sure my dog would definitely eat a bag full of those, no problem. So one of the things, and I think you've sort of gone over this a little bit, but just to make sure we get the right answer from you, how long does it usually take for the supplements to take effect? I think you've mentioned 10 days or so, but if you want to say your own words.
No, so there is no like load up or build up. You don't have to use them for weeks. Blood proteins are biological in nature, meaning that they work immediately with the system. It's not nutritional or anything that has to, it just doesn't have to build up. So typically you'll see results in 10 to 15 days. I always say 10 days, but within 15 days, 10 to 15 days, you'll see some kind of results. And I think if you go to our website, you'll see in the reviews, people using the terms like, oh, within a week or, within a couple of days, like over and over again. We always recommend, if you haven't, use the full 30 days, just go through it. And we always take care of the customer regardless. So it's not like you're never going to be concerned if it doesn't work that you're not going to get your money back or we won't take care of you, because we just always do. It's just refunds aren't like a big line item for us. So we just want to make sure that if it didn't work out, it just didn't work out. But it's pretty rare that if there's a problem to solve, that we don't provide relief in some manner for that issue.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So it sounds like obviously a very safe product, but are there any side effects that a dog owner should be worried about?
No, but I will say this. So it is completely safe. There is, it's all natural. There is no, it's not a significant source of fat or calories, which is important because, you can't overdose or overfeed your dog with our products either. So it's really a absolutely safe product all around. And I get emails all the time. My dog just ate the whole bag. What do I do? Well, you just wait, because nothing harmful is going to happen. Right. The only side effect, and I get this email a couple times, once a week, maybe once every couple weeks, is that they ran out and the problem returned. And that really is the only side effect, is that whatever problem solved, it will return if you stop using them, for sure.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So then the want to also ask you about you sort of you mentioned how you got started in the business and what happened with your dog. But I was also hoping you could show that's a great success story. I was wondering if you could share another one in addition to that one where you've seen the supplement work really well with a dramatic success story.
Yeah. I was thinking about this, and it's kind of funny because I feel like there's a new one every week. And so it's really hard to pick. But so I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go to the website and just see what a recent one was. So
yeah,
on 8/26, and these are on there for anybody to see. Margaret, so it's a picture of her little Chihuahua, actually, which is kind of ironic since I had the Chihuahua. She started the mobility chew about a week ago, not expecting too much. Her boy is a little bit older, suddenly started having problems with back legs. Vet said it was his knees, searched and decided on WINPRO. And she says, well, I'm so happy I could cry. Actually, I have cried. He has improved 90%, doesn't lay in bed all day. He does run to the door when he hears someone now, back to almost normal. I can't thank you enough. You gave my little boy back. He's happier too. And those results are typical. I know you're supposed to say not typical, but those results are typical with us. And then just next to that, on an allergy product, this is from Jeremy G. I got these for my 2-year-old rescue mix. She was shedding what seemed to be an abnormal amount, has a short coat, putting clumps of hair out every day, unmanageable, just brushing, itching, licking, some of which concerned me. Within a week of her shedding, within a week of using WINPRO, all of her shedding all but stopped. Her coat, which was also healthy to begin with, was improved, softer and smoother. She still has some hot spots of itching and licking that I hope will improve over time, but without a doubt, I'm convinced the supplements have helped immensely. And we could go on and on and on about that. And then I got an email. I'm just going to share this one if that's okay, real quick.
Yeah.
Because it kind of goes back to what we just talked about. And if anybody in your audience needs me to forward any of these things, I'm happy to. This is from Linda Baum, and she said, hey, I was interested in the science behind supplement, and I gave it a try. I had various glucosamine and chondroitin supplements with no improvement. After a couple of weeks of using your product, she had the spring back in her step. There was a point in the beginning of the year I forgot to order more, and my vet convinced me to go back on glucosamine. Her limp came back as well as her slow gait. There was no improvement until I got her back on mobility. I'll never try anything else. So that she said, thanks for your product. My dogs are so happy, blah, blah, blah. But those are kind of pretty typical, weekly for sure, stories that we get. And there's a lot of that we don't hear about that people are just really happy. And that's really fun to see. That's what makes it a fun product to sell. It just helps. It helps two lives, the dogs, and then improves the lives of the relationship with the owner. So that's what's really cool.
Yeah, no, I think those are some great stories. Really appreciate you sharing those with us, and it sort of exemplifies Best Dog Life in sort of that supplement. Sounds like you're helping, just like you said, the dog and the owner. So
yeah, and we're really and really what we kind of say is that our goal is just to keep them healthy, active, and with you for as long as possible. And that's really it.
Yeah, no, I think every dog owner appreciates that. That's for sure. Well, Tim, we really appreciate your time today and for shedding some light on blood protein supplements.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. If you or anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm available whenever.
Will do. Thanks a lot.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks.